Alright, so in this video, I am going to demonstrate macOS 10.5. It's specifically macOS 10.5.4, I believe. I could be wrong on that, actually. But yesterday, I demonstrated a macOS 10.4 Tiger virtual machine. So now we're going to demonstrate a macOS 10.5 Leopard virtual machine. So, and I'll check the version number too, just to confirm and make sure I got it right, because I actually can't remember. Now, unfortunately, PowerPC emulation is not exactly the most stable on modern hardware, so both of these versions of macOS don't run particularly well in virtual machines, and unfortunately there's nothing that can be done about that. Running the Intel versions of both of these would be a solid option for sure, but I realized that it's almost impossible to find a bootable ISO of especially macOS 10.4. Even the PowerPC version, it took like a very long time before I could actually finally find a bootable ISO, and it was the PowerPC version, but I can't seem to find a normally functioning, clean, bootable ISO of macOS 10.5 at all for the Intel version, only the PowerPC version. So these are apparently extremely hard to find. But anyway, I have it. I have the PowerPC version of it, so we're going to open UTM. That's the software I use for this.
Spotlights, UTM application, close button, UTM.
UTM on my modern MacBook, and we're going to run macOS 10.5.
Created, browse UTM, user guide, support, vertical sidebar, macOS 10.4, macOS 10.5, Mac UTM, window, toolbar, virtual tool, Mac full screen, UTM, voiceover off.
Now, I turned voiceover off on the host OS, because I already went over this in the last video, but basically it's kind of important to do that, otherwise you won't be able to navigate using VoiceOver on the virtual machine OS. Now, VoiceOver in 10.5 Leopard is actually interesting. Well, I'll explain why in a second when it boots up. And actually, while it does do that, I'm gonna just go shut my door real fast. Also gonna grab something.
Finder, Macintosh HD selected.
And there it is. There is VoiceOver in macOS 10.5 Leopard. So, this was the first version of macOS to introduce Mac Alex. Before, it was just using the Macintosh system. And before that, it was called Plain Talk, but in macOS 10.4 Tiger, it was called Macintosh. And the classic Macintosh voices are still on here, but they have gotten some updates, and they're actually, we can go through them because they're quite a bit different from macOS 10.4, but they're also different from macOS 10.6. But another difference with VoiceOver is the system sounds. The VoiceOver sounds in macOS 10.5 Leopard are actually quite a bit different than macOS 10.4 or 10.6. So VoiceOver really did go through a lot of changes throughout those major versions. So the navigation sounds are what's slightly different. So we can move through and...
Mac DVD, Mac OS 10 install DVD selected.
Okay, well, never mind. I'm on the desktop, so there's nothing to navigate through. Let's go through, I guess, let's go through the utilities, because we're going to need that VoiceOver utility anyway. So Command-Shift-U.
Utilities, window, icon.
Now,
Icon
some of the sounds from macOS 10.6 and newer that you're used to are in here at this point, but there's a few sounds that are slightly different, and you might be able to notice them as I kind of navigate through here.
Icon view, vertical split, icon view, scroll area, interact with icon view, area. Airport utility, audio MIDI setup selected, color sync utility selected application.
That sound right there.
Bluetooth file utility select Bluetooth file exchange, audio MIDI setup.
I don't know exactly what that sound indicates, but that sound is actually in macOS 10.4 Tiger as well, but they changed it slightly in macOS 10.5, and then I don't know what that sound is supposed to be in macOS 10.6. I think they eliminated it entirely, but I could be wrong.
Bluetooth file exchange. Console. Application. Digital color meter. Selected. Directory utility. Directory. Selected. Disk utility. Grab. Selected. Grapher.
Now I'm going to navigate
Java. Full.
all the way to the end because there's another system sound that's different. I'm not a system sound, a voiceover sound.
Keychain access. Selected. Migration assistant. Selected. ODBC administrator. Selected.
Yeah, I really wish the
System
audio
profiler.
was
Terminal.
not...
Selected. Voiceover utility. Selected. X11. Selected. X11. Selected.
Now, if the audio would quit acting up, if you know how voiceover works, when once you get to the end of something, like the end of a page or something, it plays a sound. You're probably familiar with that sound if you use modern macOS. Well, in macOS 10.4 Tiger, actually, it wraps around, so there's no really end point. When you reach the end in macOS 10.4, it'll just wrap back over to the top. It's interesting, but in macOS Leopard, they introduced that sound, and it's actually, it's different, and it's, yeah, it's, so this is the sound that you would hear when you reach the end in macOS, with voiceover in macOS Leopard.
X11, 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 selected. X11, 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 selected.
So, like, see, I can't move any further, but, like, to compare, I'll turn voiceover back on my host OS and, like, navigate.
Voiceover.
You can hear, that's funny that they're both using Mac Alex. Anyway, you can hear that when you reach the end in modern Mac OS, it makes this sound. Here, let me turn my speech off so you can hear.
Speech muted.
Just the sound. See, you're probably familiar with that sound in modern Mac OS.
Speech unmuted.
But, yeah.
Voiceover off.
This is the sound in OS 10.5 Leopard.
X11, 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 X11. Voiceover utility.
Let me go all the way back
utility,
to the left.
Selected. Directory utility. Sync utility. Airport utility. Activity.
There's nothing I can really do about the speech. There's no command to actually turn the speech off by itself, as far as I know. But you can kind of hear the sound over the voice. It's...
Activity.
Yeah, I don't know if that really... That's what I'm trying to demonstrate, though, is that sound is one of the different sounds, and then with macOS 10.6, they changed it to the sound that you hear now in modern macOS. So, yeah, macOS 10.5 Leopard voiceover is interesting. Now, let's go, while we're in the utilities, let's go to the voiceover utility and listen to some of the Macintalk sounds, because they're actually quite a bit different. The way they say certain things, I guess, not necessarily that, but the intonation is a little bit different than in OS 10.5 and, in OS 10.4 and in OS 10.46 and newer. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of, hopefully that makes sense, but the voices are just slightly different, so let's go to the voiceover utility. I believe first letter navigation works. Well, it did something.
X11. Voiceover utility. Selected application. X11. X11. Voiceover terminal. Select. Voiceover utility. Open.
Okay, so we're going to get...
Voiceover application. Voiceover utility. Window. Voiceover utility. Utility categories.
Yeah, it's
table.
a little slow. I'm
Focus.
Still trying to hope that one day UTM will update and get better PowerPC emulation, but like I said, PowerPC emulation uses a lot of system resources. Even if you have the most powerful hardware, it just uses a lot. It's unstable. Yeah, I just have this, like, Monster energy drink. Anyway, let's go through here and listen to some of the voices.
Welcome. When portable preferences are welcome to Macintosh. VoiceOver is running. Login, greeting. Welcome. When portable preferences, ask help button, help button, help button.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can hear that sound clearly now. Like when you reach the end, that's what's different. And then this sound here, like
ask when portable, ask before using help, ask when portable, login, greeting, utility cat, VoiceOver, utility categories, table. Interact with general. Verbosity, speech. Stop interacting with utility categories.
Oh yeah, and this sound here, that's a sound you're probably used to in modern VoiceOver. That sound has been in there since 10.5 Leopard. It was a little bit different in 10.4.
Utility, show additional mute speech, uncheck, voices, selected, pronunciation, tab 2, voices, pronunciate, voices, rate, pitch, Volume. Default voice. Alex. Default voice. Pop-up button. And you check mark.
Now let's
Alex.
listen to
Fred.
Fred, which this is
Fred.
You can hear that it's a little bit faster, and it's the intonation is just slightly different.
It is 3 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, no, that's not what it was. This is what it was.
Default voice. Default voice. Volume. Pitch. Rate. Voices.
Let me turn it up because I don't know if you can hear it very well.
Rate. Pitch. Volume. Default voice. Fred. Default voice. Pop-up button. Default voice. Volume. Pitch. Rate. Voices. Pronunciate voices. Select mute speech. Show additional voice utility category. Voiceover utility. Dim zoom button. Minimize button. Close button. Close button. Close button. Minimize button. Dim zoom button. Voiceover utility. Utility categories. Tape. Show additional voice. Mute. Pronounce voices. Rate. Pitch. Volume. Default voice. Fred. Default voice. Pop-up button.
So yeah, that is what the Macintalk synthesizer sounds like. It was updated quite a bit from macOS 10.4 Tiger to macOS 10.5 Leopard. Now, of course, we still have the novelty voices. Always have, always will, probably, in macOS. Even modern macOS, which is macOS 15, actually, still has them. So they've been around for a while.
Default voice. Pop-up button.
See, that's one thing I do like, for sure. Another, like, a major thing about macOS is I wish Microsoft would keep... I mean, you can download some of the older, like, Microsoft voices on a PC. Like, here's my Windows 11 PC that I have, and I will just change my JAWS synthesizer. I do have Microsoft Sam on here.
JAWS version. Select element Microsoft Mobile SAPI 5X dash left parent factory right parent SAPI 5X 64.
I think that's it.
Taskbar.
Yeah,
Volume down.
like you can get Microsoft Sam and all those TTS voices from older Windows versions, but you have to manually do it. The thing with like macOS is even in modern macOS versions, they've always had the Macintalk synthesizer, which has been in there since the 90s. They've just been updating it slightly, but it's still been the same voices. So that's why a lot of variety, because modern macOS has obviously the vocalizer voices now, and then it has Mac Alex. But that's another thing, is they've had Alex in there for a long time. Like, I couldn't imagine them removing any of the older voices because they've been in there for so long. So that's why it's like, I do really like that about macOS, is how they've kept some of the older classic voices in there, because I like using Mac Alex as my default voice. So
Volume mode.
anyway, let me fix my piece.
Volume mode.
I'm just leave it as Microsoft Sam for now. Why not? Anyway, yeah, so let's change the voice again in here.
Checkmark. Fred. Checkmark. Fred. Good news.
Let's just go through one of the
Checkmark. Fred. Pipe organ. Pipe organ.
yeah, we still have the novelty voices.
Pipe organ. Menu. Good news. Bad news. Battery is as powerful as an idea whose time has come.
I think that line is still in macOS. That was what was from macOS 10.4, so they changed that line with macOS 10.6. But we can change the pitch of the voice, and it still does exactly what it did in my...
Rate pitch 50 for 40%, 50%. Default pitch. Did bad news. Pipe organ. Cellos.
Yep, and of course...
Nothing is as powerful.
So yeah, we can change the voice, and you can have the pitch of the notes that the voice like sings be a little bit different.
Pitch 50%, 55%, 45%, 50%, 55%, 50.
So yeah, you get the idea. Let's switch back to Alex.
Cellos, menu, Agnes,
Yeah, the audio's being weird.
Albert, Alex.
Alex. Nothing is as powerful.
Yeah, my audio's acting up. But yeah, you kind of get the the idea of how the text-to-speech was kind of how it's evolved in macOS. Now, unfortunately, I do not currently have a macOS 10.6 virtual machine on my Mac to compare this to. However, I actually do have one on my PC, so screen recording might be a little bit different. But if you would like to see voiceover in macOS 10.6 and how it's different as far as some of the sounds and again the text to speech, I don't know if the text to speech really has changed much. Actually, yes, the Macintalk has. It changed from 10.4 to 10.5, and then it changed again to 10.6. So if you'd like to see a video of macOS 10.6 Snow Leopard voiceover, then just let me know, and I will figure out how to get a good screen recording on my PC. And also, that virtual machine is actually a lot more stable, so because it is Intel-based, and everything from then on is, anything from Snow Leopard onwards is all Intel-based, and then starting with macOS 11 in 2020, that's where now it's universal, so it supports Intel and the new ARM-based chips that, like the Apple M1, M2, M3, and now the M4. But anyway, yes, that's what I'll end up doing if anyone wants a demonstration of macOS 10.6, I will do that. But let's go ahead and shut down this virtual machine and hope it actually properly shuts down, because my last one did not. Yeah, that's weird. It didn't shut down. I pressed Command Q and it's supposed to, like, I don't know why Command Q is closing the entire UTM thing, but it's crashing the virtual machines. That's not really supposed to happen. But anyway, it's
VoiceOver.
technically shut off now, so
Desktop. Empty group. QuickTime Finder. QuickTime Finder.
yeah, like UTM isn't even on here.
QuickTime Player. QuickTime Player.
So, yeah, that is voiceover in macOS 10.5 Leopard. Oh, you know what? I forgot to check the version number like I said I was going to do. Let's do it real fast.
Spotlight. Vertical sidebar. In Mac OS 10.5. UTM window. Toolbar. Virtual. Mac full screen. UTM voiceover off.
Because I said, what did I say at the beginning of the video? I think I said 10.5.4, which, or did I say 10.5.6? I don't know what I said. But either way, we're going to find out what it really is. Just, that's a really good, monster. Now, it didn't shut down properly, so hopefully it starts back up. If not, then unfortunately we're going to have to end this video without getting the version number. And it doesn't seem like...
Pitch 50%.
Oh, well, that's kind of weird. So it didn't actually shut down the virtual machine. It just, like, suspended it. That's, okay, well, weird, I guess. I don't even know. Let's close out of the
Mute
voiceover
speech.
utility.
Volume 100. Intonation. Volume. Pitch 50%.
Oh, it won't even close out of that.
Rate. Pitch 50%. Front row. Ready. 55%. 65%. 60%. 55%. 50%. 50. Volume 100%. Pitch 50%. 55. Volume 100%. 7, 85, 9, 70, 65%, 70%.
Yeah, the in older versions, VoiceOver lets you change the pitch like way higher than in newer versions. It still goes up to 100%, but it doesn't. It's not as dramatic of a change as it is in like Leopard. Like, listen how high pitched this is. It's so funny.
80%, 85%, 90%, 95%, 100%.
That's just so high pitched. It's really funny.
Volume 100, pitch 100%, 95, 30%, 25, 35, 40, 45%.
But yeah, you get the idea.
55%, 50%.
It won't let me close out of here though. In fact, it's not capturing the keyboard like it's supposed to.
Mac sidebar table.
It just like
In Mac OS 10 now in Mac OS 10.5 voiceover off. Pitch 50%. Rate 50%. Rate 50%.
Well,
Front. Voiceover.
I don't know what's happening. It's doing that by itself. Okay, this is weird. I'm gonna have to restart the virtual machine. It's doing that all by itself. Okay.
In toolbar, pause, stop, restart, button, in alert, this can, okay, virtual machine.
Okay, good, that stopped.
Closing dialog virtual machine, capture input.
Okay, well, that was really weird. I don't know why it did that, but kind of now that's what I'm talking about. Now you kind of see how these PowerPC virtual machines, especially in UTM, that might have been just a bug in UTM where it was holding down the keyboard thing or something. I don't know what it was doing, but it was like, I think it was cycling through some stuff for some reason by itself. It was like I was pressing and holding Command Tab, but I wasn't. So I don't know what happened there. That was weird. That was pretty funny, actually. Okay, well, hopefully it boots back up, and if it does, then we can check the system information.
Finder, Macintosh HD selected.
Okay, good. It booted up. Let's check the system information. It would be in About This Mac.
Apple menu. Log out Cameron command. About this Mac. System profiler ellipse. Software update ellipse. Mac OS 10 software. System profiler. About this Mac.
Okay, I had to pause the video because I got a call.
QuickTime Player has no windows.
I got a call on my phone, so
Finder.
yeah.
Finder.
But anyway, we're back in here.
QuickTime UTM Finder. QuickTime Player. Finder. UTM. Side in Windows 9 with Mac OS 10 now in.
We'll go back to Mac OS 10.5.
Voiceover off.
I think it's already in full screen. But we're going to check the system information to see if I can figure out exactly if I was right on the version number or not. So the audio's really acting up.
Apple menu. About this Mac. Log out Cameron. Log out Cameron. System profiler ellipsis. About this Mac.
About this Mac. So here we go. Let's see if I was right on the version
Login
number.
Window. About this Mac. Software up.
I feel like it's talking a little bit slow. Let me just...
Hit 50. Rate 50%. 48%. 42%. 48%. 54%. 60%.
Why is it like...
90%. 96. 94%. 88%. 80%. 70%.
It's not doing even
58,
numbers. It's just...
30.
That's weird.
0%. 30%. 36. 42. 48. 54. 60%. 54%.
That's as close as we can get. Anyway.
Software update button. Processor. Software. Image. Version 10.5.4.
Okay, yep, I was right. 10.5.4. It's kind of hard to hear it through the really bad audio, but
version 10.5.4.
If it would just be stable for a second.
Image. Software update button. Image. Version 10.5.4. About this Mac. Version 10. Image. Software update button.
I don't know why the audio is so bad, especially after restarting the virtual machine. I mean, after what it just did earlier, though, that was really weird and interesting. But yeah, so I was right. It is macOS 10.5.4. So, and then all the stuff about the CPU and stuff like that, the processor and the memory, it's going to be the same. Is it raining outside? I think it is. Anyway, it's going to be the same as the last virtual machine because they're both running the same emulation, the same Mac 99 based emulation. So they're both emulating actually, I think this one might be emulating a G4 processor, but let me see.
Software processor. 900 MHz PowerPC G4.
I think it is a 900 megahertz PowerPC G4. It is actually sprinkling outside. That's interesting. Hasn't rained here in a really long time. Anyway, yeah, it's it's emulating basically what would be an iMac G4. So I really don't know why the audio is so bad, but hopefully
900 megahertz PowerPC G4. Memory 1 gigabytes.
1 gigabyte. 1 gigabytes. It's 1 gigabyte.
Startup disk. Macintosh HD. More info button. TM and 1983 2008 Apple Incorporated.
This is 2008. And in the last one, you'll notice that it said Apple Computer Incorporated and macOS 10.4 Tiger, but now this one says Apple Incorporated because that's when, I don't know what prompted that change, but yeah, now it's just Apple Incorporated.
TM and 1900 TM and 1900 more info. Macintosh HD startup disk. 1 gigabytes memory. 900 megahertz PowerPC G4 processor. Software update. Image version 10.5.4. About this Mac. Dim zoom button. Dim minimize button. Close button. Close button. Close button. Press Finder.
So, yeah.
Macintosh.
So yeah, that is VoiceOver in macOS 10.5 Leopard. Now let's see if we can actually shut this down properly through the Apple menu.
Menu bar. Apple. Log. Cameron. Command. Shut down. Log. Cameron. Ellipse. Shut down. Desktop. Login window.
And yeah, it just shuts down. So now we can turn VoiceOver back on the host OS.
VoiceOver on UTM.
And it will...
Mac tool. Zoom close. Mac virtual.
It's still going. It'll have like a thing when it's not running anymore. It'll say like image.
Mac tool. Mac Mac tool. Close. Tool. Mac virtual.
But it's still running, so it takes time for the virtual machine to shut down.
Mac tool. Zoom close. Zoom tool. Mac virtual machine. Mac tool. Close button.
Is it not? It's still not shutting down yet.
Zoom tool. Virtual.
If it doesn't shut down in the next, like, I don't know, 30 seconds, then I'm going to shut it down manually. I'm just going to stop it. Yeah. I still have this computer.
Volume down. Volume down. Volume down. Volume down. Combo box. Sappy Microsoft Mobile Eloquence.
I can switch back to Eloquence.
Volume up.
I have JAWS on this computer as my primary screen reader. This is just another computer that I have. It's a Windows 11 Lenovo computer. I can review it or some stuff on it maybe if anyone would want me to do that.
Start button. Start at root. Shut. Taskbar.
It's my main workstation here at my desk, and yeah, it's running Windows 11, and it's got like 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. It's a pretty modern machine. It's from 2019. So, okay, is this...
Zoom, close, zoom tool, image, play,
okay,
image.
so yeah, it says image there, so that's how you know it's closed.
Tool is close, but now
I can close this
group.
thing.
Vertic, stop, tool, full minute, close, Finder.
And that's it.
QuickTime player.
So, that was macOS 10.5. That was specifically VoiceOver and the text-to-speech and the VoiceOver sounds in macOS 10.5 Leopard. If you would like to see OS 10.6 Snow Leopard in the virtual machine on VirtualBox, I can do that. Or of any of my other computers, I have installed Windows XP on my 2009 computer. So I have a Windows XP computer. I have this Windows 11 computer. I have this MacBook. I have quite a few laptops and just also, besides computers, all kinds of other like random electronics in this room. So if there's anything specific that you would want me to review, I can do that. I can review a different computer or different software, different virtual machines, all kinds of stuff.
QuickTime player has no windows.
But anyway, that was it. Hope you enjoyed the video.